Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Dean Aslinia, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and nationally certified counselor, the graduate counseling program chair, and I'm going to talk to you about how to talk to your children about the COVID-19 virus as we move through this pandemic. So, regardless of your child's age, there are a few principles of communication that need to apply when we're addressing a child of any age. As a parent, one of the biggest things that we need to always make sure that we're making ourselves available to them so that they can share their fears, concerns, or any questions that they might have. One of the biggest things that's important for us to remember as parents is that all of our children's feelings are okay. Sometimes they might have feelings of fear, anger, frustration, and all of those feelings are okay. Behaviors are not always okay. So if a child tells you, I'm scared, what we need to do is we need to validate that feeling for them. But the behavior of screaming or perhaps tearing pieces of paper or throwing things around in the house, those are not okay. So what we can do is provide them validation for their feelings, but then set limitations for the negative behaviors that they might be exhibiting. But the important takeaway here is always validate their feelings. Another big thing that's a big principle that we need to be aware of is that we need to be vigilant about the information that our children are exposed to, both from TV and through any of their other technological modes or mediums that they have access through. So if your child has an iPad or they have phones, well, you need to be vigilant about the amount of information that they're getting exposed to in regards to this COVID-19 virus. One of the biggest things that I'm beginning to notice is parents that keep the TV on a news cycle of their choosing, a news broadcast that broadcasts 24/7 about new updates both globally and nationally, tend to increase the anxiety within the family because all we see on those news broadcasts are depictions of the global crisis that's going on, the number of deaths that are going on, the number of infected individuals, and so on and so forth. So we need to limit the amount of statistics and the influx of information that perhaps will not help any child or even an adult with the amount of control that they feel in the world that we live in. Because none of us can do anything about the information we're taking from the news cycle. All we can do is just take it in and process it. So limiting that information is key in being able to manage the anxiety of your child as well as yourself. So then we get more specific in terms of talking points for children that are aged between the ages of 5 and 10. So what's important for this category of children is that you share age-appropriate facts with them, perhaps beginning a conversation of what a virus is. By now, a 5-year-old or certainly a 10-year-old has had several bouts of common cold or maybe even a couple of bouts of the flu or fever and that type of a thing. So you can use those as examples to teach them how once a virus enters the body begins to fight and the immune system kicks in to ensure that it can fight the virus back out of the body. So the biggest thing here is to reassure them that they are safe and that you are doing everything to protect them. This is perhaps one of the most important messages that you can relay to your child so that they feel a sense of consistency, a commitment, and a safety from you. Then we can move on to teaching them how to stay healthy by washing their hands properly. You could do this both by modeling and showing them how they can still remain in control of their health and the environment. So showing them exactly what you mean by scrubbing their hands for 15 to 20 seconds, by using warm water, by ensuring that they get in between the fingers and scrubbing the back of their hands. All of those are important communication tips that you can not only communicate effective, healthy techniques, but also perhaps even have some fun with your child as you demonstrate this with them. So speak to them about developing certain routines, such as washing their hands regularly, but specifically before meals and or touching their face. You can do this with teaching them how to continuously wash their hands after they come in from the outside, or touching dirt or stones, or you know different pencils or other commonly used utensils or tools that are perhaps a source of sharing the virus and or other contaminants. Last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, for this age category, it's just as important to validate all of their feelings that they may have, whether it's fears, concerns, and again, recognizing that all of their feelings are okay, while all their behaviors may not be okay. So set a limit on the behavior, but not on the expression of the child's feeling. Then we move on to children of older ages. So be it preteens, 10 plus, all the way through the teenage years. So here, there are some different rules, but for the most part, we can still utilize a lot of the same principles from the earlier ages. So while the same set of rules and messages are important for this group of children, the method of your communication is perhaps what's going to change most. And so with teens and or preteens, they are obviously more technologically savvy, and they are used to getting much more information effectively through the use of technology. So tapping into that realm for them by communicating through what their mode of communication is. A lot of teens now communicate or remember things much more visually and or through text messages. So while you can certainly have a verbal conversation with them, maybe you can follow up with that verbal conversation with sending them either a link to a video that corroborates everything you've told them, or perhaps add supplemental information on top of what you've already given them. So we want to make sure that whatever it is that these videos or links that you share with them are child-friendly terms, meaning that they don't, again, increase the amount of anxiety that the child fears with this, which is another problem most adults experience is, again, exposing themselves to too much information, such as if you have an illness and you go simply Googling the symptoms of the illness, chances are you'll walk away with much more anxiety about what the potential symptoms could actually be than what a doctor's diagnosis might be. So again, it's imperative that you share with them things that will not raise their anxiety, but only simply help them with the amount of information to allow them to have a sense of control over their health as well as their environment. And as I mentioned already, sometimes texting them reminders or facts, or more importantly, correcting the misinformation that they may have been provided, can certainly be a helpful process during this journey. Here are some CDC facts about the virus that you can perhaps share with your children. These come straight from the CDC, which I encourage you to visit for a more comprehensive list of facts and or information. But to get you started, here's some information. The COVID-19 virus is a short name for the coronavirus disease of 2019. It is a new virus, and doctors and scientists are still learning much more about this virus. Recently, this virus has made a lot of people sick. Scientists and doctors think that most people will be okay, especially kids, but some people might get pretty sick. And again, notice this type of information is child-friendly enough to where you can share it with them, that they can comprehend the amount of information you're telling them, and still not raise their anxiety. Last but not least, another fact that you can share with your child about this coronavirus is doctors and health experts are working hard to help people stay healthy. Another set of facts from the CDC to communicate to your children are some pointers of What can I do so that I don't get the COVID-19 virus? So as the CDC recommends, you can practice healthy habits at home, school, and play to help protect against the spread of the COVID-19 virus. So those tips include cough or sneeze into your tissue or your elbow. If you sneeze or cough into a tissue, throw it in the trash can right away. Keep your hands out of your mouth, nose, and eyes. This will help keep germs out of your body. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Follow these 5 steps. Wet, lather, make bubbles, scrub, rub together, rinse and dry, and you can sing the happy birthday song twice. That usually takes about 20 seconds that's necessary. If you don't have soap and water, have an adult help with use of special hand cleaners or hand sanitizers. Now, with children, make sure that you're not using too much hand sanitizer, as it often has a high alcohol content that can penetrate through their skin and impact the child. So keep things clean. Older children can help adults at home and school clean the things that we touch the most, like the desks, doorknobs, light switches, and remote controls. A note for adults from the CDC is that you can find more information about cleaning and disinfecting on the CDC's website. And last but not least, a tip for children is if you feel sick, stay at home. Just like you don't want to get other people's germ in your body, other people don't want to get your germs in theirs. And so obviously we are going through a stay-at-home order in many states and or trying to quarantine ourselves. But regardless of if we are in a quarantine or not, self-isolation or social distancing, we should always practice these tips to ensure not only that we stay healthy, but also for the well-being of the mental health of both children and as ourselves, because a sense of control over our own well-being is always an important aspect of our mental health. Thank you for your time and attention, and hope this webinar has been helpful.